Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are lucky enough to be here for the May 2019 Worldox Virtual User Group meeting from Attorney Computer Systems, where today, just like always, we've got two topics. The first one is the salvage bin. Mary Jo's going to take that topic. And the second one is a quick refresher on checking out and checking back in. I'm going to take that one. And so now, without further ado, I'm going to press all the right buttons, not just one, not just two, but all the right buttons to get us back to a point where we can go into Worldox and play around. Mary Jo?
Okay, we're going to talk about the salvage bin today and how you can delete documents, but then how you can get them back. There are several settings that we do pre-set up here, like as as part of the configuration of Worldox behind the scenes. One of those is to make sure that the cabinet has the salvage bin enabled. So we want to always make sure that the client cabinet, especially where all your documents there are, that the salvage bin is enabled. Once that is enabled, and it should be if you've had just a typical standard setup, we also restrict how users can delete documents. Now, generally, administrators or managers in Worldox can have three different options. They can delete, they can shred, and they can permanently delete it. Or I guess move to salvage bin is the first one, and then shred, and then you can also permanently delete a document. So you can, as a manager, have a little bit more, capabilities to permanently get something out. But most users are only going to be able to move it to the salvage bin, and that means it's recoverable later. And that's important because sometimes, we may have an end user that just accidentally deletes something or a group of documents and they didn't mean to, and we quickly want to restore those back. So we're going to take just this document here. Whoops, I got to get control. I did not ask for that. My fault, Paul. Let me ask you for
I was wondering, is she ever going to ask me for control?
I didn't ask you. That was my fault.
I have approved your request.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go over to this document here, and I am going to right-click on it, and I'm going to choose delete. And I know that we haven't probably used that on here, so I'm going to click delete. And when I have this coming up, I've got my delete method and I've got the shred that's unrecoverable. So I'm going to say go ahead and delete it. And that should be moving that over. And I'm in workspaces, so I'm not sure if this is the best place to be. Let's go out, Paul. I don't know where my cabinet is, so I'm going to go out to my direct access here, and we're going to get a client file here that we have some documents in our test data, because I'm just looking at something and realized I'm in the wrong place. So here we go. So I'm going to get this general power of attorney from this document. I'm going to right click and delete it. And now when I delete it and say okay, and I'm hoping we have our, I'm
going to interrupt
here because we don't have it enabled. We don't have our move to salvage bin enabled. Way to go. We're prepared.
Oh, that's
Hold
funny.
on a minute. We're going to get that. I'm going to get out of this, Paul. Let's just open our live real quick.
Yeah, let me drive first.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that.
So do you want to tell the lawyer joke now, Mary?
I don't have any lawyer jokes. But what we're looking for here is that move to salvage bin. If we delete it, it's really going to just delete this document out, and we don't want to do that. So
apparently the
demo data does not have it salvage bin
enabled.
But ours does. I know
Ours
it does. So we're going to go out to just our Scooby-Doo client, because I know we've got some documents out there.
So much for closing hours and getting into the demo data.
I know. We thought we were doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
See, we just are just like everybody else. We have our fun times, huh? All right, we're going to hide that view, and I'm just going to go out to direct access. We're going to go into Scooby-Doo, because I know Scooby has some definite documents here. So let's go over here. Well, I lied. That Scooby doesn't, but the other Scooby does. I know he does. Been here before. I love when everything goes smoothly. All right, so let's go
I
here.
hate it when
all right, here we go. So here's some test documents here. All right, so I'm going to grab this one. We are going to go ahead and hide that viewer. And I've got delete up here on this one. And there it is. There's our move to salvage bin. That's the whole reason that we are here. So
we really just wanted to emphasize the point that it's important that you enable this before you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Point emphasized.
Yes. So if you delete something and you didn't have that there, it's not going to be as, you can't get that back. So we want to move it to the salvage bin. So that will be the option and should be the only option that end users have. They shouldn't be able to delete or to shred a document. They should only be able to move to salvage bin. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to move this to the salvage bin and say, okay, it is now no longer in my focus in my live documents here. Now, if I want to get that back, I'm going to go over to my cabinets over here on the tree. We're going to go to our client files and then to the salvage bin. And so there should be a file here, and here's Scooby-Doo. So what the salvage bin does, when we move a document to the salvage bin, it creates the same structure, the same file structure as we have in our client files with the client number and then the matter and so on. And you can just go to that exact same location. So we're going to go to Scooby-Doo, client 1000 or 10,000, and to 00 for that test client procedures. And I'm going to open that. And right now I'm looking at the salvage bin documents, and here's that discovery response that I deleted. If I want to restore it, I simply need to click on it, right click, and say undelete. That will then put it back into the same directory I had moved it out of originally. And if I go back into the live data again, and I'm going to go back out of here, and we're going to go up to our direct access. We're going to go to Scooby-Doo, the 1000 or 10,000 matter, test client procedures, and now that document is back in here. There's my discovery response from Redmond. So you can move documents in and out of that salvage bin, and then you can actually periodically set, or you can set the indexer to periodically delete items in the salvage bin. So maybe if an item has been in the salvage bin for 6 months or older, you want those to be deleted. And so the indexer, as part of its nightly routine, can come through and do a sweep and look at all the dates that they were deleted, and it can go ahead and remove those automatically for whatever length of time you say, however old, if they're a year old or whatever. And that way your salvage bin doesn't have to keep getting, bogged down. There's no reason that you have to do that, but if you want to, just to clean that up, you're not going to need them anymore. It's kind of like your delete box in Outlook. Eventually it gets like there's a lot of deleted items in there. You may want to remove some of those. You can do that. Now you also can search items in the salvage bin as well. So if I've moved documents to the salvage bin, but I still want to search and see what they are, in our search options, I'm going to just click on my client files for a moment. In the search what, let me pop that up just a little bit. You have an option to click on the salvage bin, and you can search the salvage bin for items. So if you're searching for something in the live client file and you're not finding it, and you know that you had a document that had that language in it, you may want to try broadening your search and search the salvage bin in case somebody had moved it there. That way you can find documents in that location as well. So that's the salvage bin. You can use that like a little recycle bin on your desktop. You can go pull items back and restore them by undeleting them. And you can set those settings to restrict it so users can only move to the salvage bin and not accidentally permanently delete something.
And I think it bears mentioning that just like you can set those permissions so that the users only see the salvage bin, but the administrators see the other two more destructive options. In a lot of firms, they have it set so that only the administrators can go into the salvage bin.
To restore the document.
Right. So you may not see a salvage bin as a user, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not there. You're in a lot of firms, they have it set it up so that the person who does the undeleting, the removing from salvage bin is an administrator. Now I'm going to talk about checking in and out, and in a nutshell, checking in and out is kind of like checking a book out of the library and then bringing it back and saying it's there. But a lot of times people don't care so much about that. They want to know why. Why would I check something out? Why wouldn't I just copy it to my desktop and take my laptop home, or copy it to my desktop and move it over to email it to myself or whatever? And I'm going to explain why. When you, Worldox is an on-prem, your server type of application. Now, your server may be in the cloud. We have many clients that use Worldox in the cloud, and they're using it on their own server that's housed in the cloud. But nonetheless, these documents typically reside on your server. And so if you are in that environment, if you are on that server and you go to pull up a certain motion to compel, and Bob, 2 doors down, has it open because he's also working on it, your network is going to know that that document's already been opened by Bob, and it's going to tell you, hey, I can't open this and give this to you in a format that is going to allow you to save it on top of what Bob's doing, because that would be bad. And so it'll give you a chance to open a read-only copy, and you will either take that chance because really you just want to look at it, or perhaps you'll walk down the hall or call Bob and say, hey, get out of that document. When you take something home, your server does not know that you're working on it. You're sitting in front of the TV watching the basketball game or whatever, and you're working on a document. And when Bob, who is in the office, goes to pull that document up, the server in the office says, yeah, here it is. I don't see that anybody else has got it open. It doesn't know that you've got a copy at home. So checking out a document is merely a way of telling Worldox, hey, I'm taking this, don't let anybody else work on it, at least, and save it back on top of this version until I check it back in. And that's really the key factor there is, does Worldox know that you have that document and therefore have the opportunity to prevent other users from messing it up for you? If Worldox doesn't know, if you haven't checked out the document, then Worldox does not have the opportunity to prevent others from messing up that document while you've got it out. And it's very simple to do. If I wanted to take this PDF and right-click on it and say, check out, I just check it out. That's all there is to it. Now, there would be listings of places to put it here. Local mirror folder is going to put it in a folder called C:/Worldox. Other target folder would give you a chance to add a place to put it. But most firms already have this configured. So it'll say, desktop, my documents, where do you want to put it? It's basically what it's saying. And those options will be there. So you really just choose one and say, okay, and it's checked out. What you'll see then when you get back to the list is, hey, this document is checked out by Paul Purdue. Users can see this right away, and if they don't pay attention to the fact that it's checked out, when they pull it up, it's going to tell them it's been checked out, and it's not going to let them open up a copy that could be saved back over the top of the one that's already there. It will let them open a read-only copy that they can then save as something else, but it will not let them save it back on top of that. Now, it's obvious to us that you could simply check that back in by clicking here, but most often people don't know that they've got a document checked out. Well, they do, but they don't know which one. So a lot of times people will check them out, forget about them. They took it home, they didn't do anything with it, they'll forget about it. So quite frequently you will see a little checked out icon here that will allow you to check in your files. So let me double click that, and it shows me all the files I have checked out and lets me check them in. Or when you first sign into Worldox, and I'm not going to simulate this here, when you first sign into Worldox in the morning, it'll look to tell you to see if you have documents checked out or files checked out. And if you do, it'll just tell you, hey, you got 3 documents checked out, 3 files checked out, what do you want to do? And it doesn't really get in your way. It just kind of pops up a bubble in the corner by the Worldox icon, and that bubble either goes away or you click on it and come into this screen. Checking them in is easy then. It doesn't matter whether you still have the copy. Don't worry, you're given a chance to either abandon the checkout or check in the copy that you actually made changes to. So if I click check in, it will tell me whether or not it detects that any edits were made, because it can usually already see that file on your machine. It knows where it put it. It put it in your desktop. It put it in your My Documents. That is if you're using a computer that you take home with you. But nonetheless, it will either tell you that, hey, you can check it in because I see you've modified it, or in this case, it says, hey, I see you didn't do anything to this. No edits were detected. So your option then is to simply remove your exclusive lock on the file. In other words, check it in, even though I don't have anything to check in. It's kind of like going back to the library and saying, here's 20 bucks, I don't have the book, but go buy a new one. And so I'm going to do that, and now I don't have any documents checked out. And my list of checked out documents, if I were to refresh it, would be empty. And if I were to go back down to my taskbar here, I don't have a checkout icon anymore because I have no more documents checked out. So the bottom line is you check them out, and then hopefully the next day you bring them back and you've done whatever things you needed to do them, and you check them back in. And when you check them back in, if you've made changes, it simply takes those changes and says, hey, okay, do you want to check these in as a new version of the same file, or just replace the file that you took out? And the alternative is that you haven't made any changes, and either Worldox detects that and gives that to you as an option, or you just tell it, hey, I know you can't see that I didn't make any changes, but check it in anyways. Trust me, I didn't. And that's it. It's just a way to tell people, hey, I've got this, don't work on it. Or if you do, be aware that you're going to be saving it as a different version, and we're going to have to figure out how to get the changes together because I've got a lock on it while I'm working on it at home while I'm watching the basketball game. And that's that. Now, let's go out here, take a quick peek at the Attorney Computer Systems website. If you go to attorneycomputersystems.com, notice the emphasis on that last S in the word systems, and click on the word videos in the menu, you will be taken to this list of all of our video content. We have 4 live titles and 2 pre-recorded titles. Of the 4 live titles, 3 of them are virtual user group meetings. You are currently in the Worldox virtual user group meeting. We also have a virtual user group meetings for Tabs and Practice Master. We also have my monthly Coffee Pot webinar series where I invite somebody from a company that has a product that adds value to one of our core products, either Worldox or Tabs 3 or Practice Master. We invite that person in, we have them talk about their company, talk about themselves, talk about the product and demo it to us, talk about how it's priced, and of course, talk about how it enhances the value or integrates with one of our core products. So it's a real interesting way to get a look at some of the things that are out there to help you take even better advantage of the software that you already have. We also have our 2 pre-recorded titles. Mary Jo has her eBytes video series. She records 3 of these every month, 1 on Tabs, 1 on Practice Master, 1 on Worldox. These are short 1 or 2 minute videos where we take something really cool that we can explain really quickly, and we do that. We also have, for those things that take a little bit longer, we have the longer format Paul and Mary Jo show, where either I or Mary Jo will take a broader topic, something that requires a little bit of extra time, and we'll spend 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes getting into the nuts and bolts and the weeds and all those other words that describe delving deeply into a topic, and really kind of pick it apart and spend a little bit more time on them. If you click on more info on any of these, I'll go to the Worldox virtual user group meeting since that's where we are. Since it's a live event, you will see the name and description for that particular title. I took a chance here. We're having some, it came up. We're having some slowness with our website today. We're looking into why. But nonetheless, you'll get the name, title, and description of the Worldox virtual user group meeting. And then, since it's a live event, the next thing you'll see is what the topic is for our next event and when it is. And then we don't have links to register anymore. We simply have 4 fields that you fill in and hit the register button, and you are done. And then as you scroll down, you will find that we have the pre-recorded versions of every other webinar that we've done or video that we've done in that particular series. So we're in the Worldox virtual user group meeting. This is where you are right now. And so it's currently in post-production, but as you scroll down even further, you get to real videos of everything we've done before in the Worldox virtual user group meeting. So not only that, but you can search. Some people like to browse. Some people like to go straight to the information that they're looking for. If you're looking for just information in general on Worldox, well, you come here and browse. But if you're looking specifically for how to check out and check in, you click this magnifying glass button and type check out or check in and search for that, and that'll take you straight to that. We have somewhere between 800 and 900 videos on our website. I think next month I'm going to have to change that to somewhere between 900 and 1,000, but we'll stick with somewhere between 800 and 900 for now. They are absolutely free to use and to view, and they are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So please, please take advantage of them. That's all for today. Everybody have a good rest of the day, a good rest of the month, and we will see you in June. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.